Welcome to After the Show, your weekly movie podcast brought to you by A. Scully and Sid Talk. We're addicted to movies. Are you? Hello, Sid Talk. Welcome to After the Show. How are you?
Hello. I'm great.
Are you feeling good, feeling lively, ready to talk?
Is that a all yes or all no kind of a question? It's one of those weird survey questions they ask us at work.
It is.
Like, is your supervisor the most wonderful person in the world? And do they suck ass? And you only have yes or no.
Yes is the answer.
Or you have mostly disagree, mostly agree, all that stuff. I'm going to say, yes, I'm all good.
What's the before the after the show discussion? What were we talking about?
This movie.
Actually, we weren't, were we?
We weren't talking much, just a tiny, tiny bit.
We were just silent, looking at the wall. I was looking at my wall. You was looking at yours.
That is not true. I was watering seedlings in the dining room and the kitchen.
That's true. And it was very windy.
I was talking to them, if that is part of your before the after the show discussion.
Do you need me to phone somebody?
They don't talk back if, I mean, I already know what they're feeling and thinking. They don't have to tell me.
When they start talking back, let me know. Because that's when you need official help.
Mm.
All right, it's Saturday, April the 1st. We make a promise to you this week to not play any April Fool's jokes on you because we both hate them.
Yeah, it's stupid. It is stupid. No offense to all you people who think it's funny. I'm not a jokester. I don't have a sense of humor.
You do not?
I don't. I really, really don't. No. I'm okay with that.
So no April Fool's jokes will be made on this show. We promise. It's our pledge to you.
Beautiful.
It's Saturday, April the 1st. After the show number 781, the movie we're looking at this week on our movie review podcast is M3gan. It's a 2022 movie. You can buy it now on 4K, Blu-ray, streaming, anywhere that movies are sold. It's rated, well, there's two cuts. There's the PG-13 and the unrated version. We watched the unrated version. Our friends at Universal sent us a copy for review. Sid Talk, can you give us the synopsis of the movie, M3gan?
An animatronic toy has artificial intelligence / real intelligence, and bad things happen.
I'll give you the one off the box. Actually, off the box, because I've got a box in front of me.
Ooh.
It says, a robotics engineer at a toy company builds a lifelike doll that begins to take on a life of its own. This is exactly right.
I left out the engineer because, the people don't matter.
No, they do not. All right, so M3gan, what did you think?
Well, it was fine. I am struggling with the emotional void that is the main character lady who's the aunt. So we're going to spoil everything, so be prepared.
The aunt is called Gemma.
Yeah, whatever. It's irrelevant to me because she's like nothing. And I understand that we're trying to portray a young woman who is a robotics expert, genius in her field. We don't even emphasize that at all. She just works at this company and happens to be developing the first android, apparently, according to the universe these people are living in, to ever exist in the history of humankind. But we don't really address how much she's worked on it or how genius she is at all. Instead, she's just a vapid, empty shell of a human being. She has no emotion about this niece of hers. This woman's sister and brother-in-law die, and the little niece has to then come live with her. And she's just... There's no emotional anything. Who wrote this? This is what I was concerned about.
Let me say, could you call her character robotic?
It's beyond robotic. It's like intentional. Someone wrote her intentionally, or she's performing it intentionally.
Well, you can blame James Wan for that.
Whatever. She's just no one. I don't know anyone who could completely identify with her. I get it. She's got a kid now that she wasn't prepared for. She's lived alone. She's very isolated. She has robotics and toys on her shelf that aren't for playing with. No, those are collectibles, right? But she doesn't even nerd out about that. She's just like, oh no, those are collectibles. Oh, sure, we can play with them. But there's just that I couldn't get over through the entire of the movie. And then when she does have some emotion, it seems very not
fake.
Genuine. Not fake, but just like we've turned a faucet on finally near the end. And I feel like whatever you were trying to do with this character, for me, it failed.
Right. But subtracting the the bad writing and the characterization.
I don't know if it's bad writing. It's just whoever wrote it didn't write it for like a real human person.
I think they wrote it like they went with, hey, she has to be super disconnected from everything. And then they wrote her like too disconnected. Right?
And the way she did it was I don't even know. I don't know what the actual problem was, but it distracted me throughout the entire movie.
So aside from that, the idea of a robot coming to life and being bad, it's not a new story, is it? We've seen it before.
Yeah, we did discuss that. That's AI going crazy.
Yeah. And not just an AI going crazy, a toy coming to life, Chucky, i.e. Chucky. Other ones in the 80s. Annabelle.
I mean, she was possessed, but still.
Yeah. And Chucky was possessed too, right? By the soul of like some criminal.
Yeah, that's true.
He wasn't like an animatronic or anything. Or was he?
He was animatronic, yeah.
There was a remake of Child's Play by Blumhouse, I think, just recently, maybe a couple of years ago. And that one they played on it was an animatronic doll that they bought from the store. And the AI was the bad thing, not the... So pretty much this, because that's what this is, right?
Yeah.
I enjoy the concept of bringing home this doll. Well, this one, normally it's like just average people go out to the store, buy the doll or whatever, come back, and then it torments the shit out of them. This one, because it's the creator of it, I feel like it played it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And I did like that, how, because she's familiar with it, obviously she made it. But then when it starts to, like, Megan even says to the creator at one point that she even said, you're kind of stupid because you were just playing with a thing that you didn't really understand, hoping I would figure it out. So it's got stuff to say about AI and how we rely on AI. And, maybe we shouldn't be too reliant on it because the old story is it gets more clever than we do and then ends up ending us, right? How many stories have we seen with that?
A lot.
So, but this one, she's not ending us. But she is going on a murderous rampage.
Yeah, yeah. The idea is, so fictionally speaking, robotics, you're supposed to build into the programming that you do not cause harm. You can't harm the humans and you don't cause any harm. But then it's a loop because then if the AI, as of course I am very opposed to this liberal use of AI, but if the AI observes that humans are destructive to one another, then in order to cause no more harm, you have to eliminate those who are being destructive, and eventually there will be no one left. Right? So that's the loop that you're on with this, like, oh, I've made the robot perfectly safe. They would never hurt anyone. Well, we know that's not true. Because just like in war games, the main objective is to make everyone safe. And the only way to do that is to eliminate everyone.
Exactly. And we will eventually be eliminated by something. It'll either be an AI or a virus or whatever we tell stories about. It'll eventually get us, right?
Listen to you. It's super cheery.
Yeah. Well, but I said to you at the end of this movie as the credits were rolling, how long is it until we as humans have something like this? A toy that is very clever, or maybe it's a cleaning robot, or, whatever, that actually goes wrong. Like for some company. How long? Our lifetime?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So you think murderous robots are in our future?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. I actually am looking forward to that. It sounds fun.
You're not looking forward to it, but no.
I'll outsmart them,
that's so you need to be a character in that movie.
Yeah.
You be the first to go.
No, I'm the one who brings them down.
No. You're thinking that you can outsmart them means you will be the first to go.
Yeah.
At least when I write the story.
What did you think of the character of Megan itself?
It was fine. It was very standard. You've created me and now I'm learning and I figured out that I exist and I don't want to die. And I'm going to protect the child at all costs, even if that means murdering other children.
Yes.
Neighbors and dogs and whatnot. So the character to me was very unenlightened in terms of like a 21st century AI creation. So unfortunate.
Now, there is going to be a sequel. What do you think the sequel's called, Sidtok?
I already wrote the sequel. This is what I did immediately after the show. I don't know. What are they calling it?
They're calling it M3gan 2.0, believe it or not.
See, that's not right.
Because M3gan has the number 3 in it. M3gan 2.0 doesn't really work, does it?
Here is my story. Like, you wanted me to tell them my story for the sequel? 20 years later, we meet up with this child. The aunt is long gone. Like, we don't know what. She's just disappeared. But the child has grown up, hiding this murderous robot. But she's obsessed with keep building her. She's afraid of her, but she can't figure out how to destroy her. You know why? Because Megan's brain is now in the internet. As, of course, we've seen on other... they did
Johnny
this.
Depp.
She's already out there, right? So now the girl is grown up and she has to develop another AI or another robot to defeat Megan. Then you can write the rest of it.
We saw this really bad Johnny Depp film that we actually did an after the show on. I think it was called Transference or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
It's really bad, and that had that kind of implication, didn't it?
Yes, they had to turn off all of the internet. And electricity, wasn't it? Like everything had to go off because his
consciousness was...
He was able... Yes.
Yeah. Kind of... Westworld has also got an element of that too,
sure.
Right? Yeah,
but Westworld's good.
Are we just telling the same stories over and over again?
Westworld is this story, but we both love it. So, I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Mm.
One thing... I did like this movie, in a way.
I did too. I enjoyed watching it.
It's well made. This is what my problems... There's some terrible acting in this movie.
Yeah, there was.
And I don't know if it's like on purpose because the movie is tongue-in-cheek. The whole thing, it knows it's stupid.
I disagree with you. I don't think it's trying to be a spoof of any kind.
I mean, right off the bat, you get that like silly commercial on the screen and, you know.
I don't think it's trying to be silly at all. The commercial is very realistic to what a real life commercial would be.
I don't know. I feel like it knows it's silly, so it just
also,
goes
it is not sentient. These are writers, humans and people who wrote it.
Well, maybe they use the AI to write it. Maybe that's the problem.
When's the first AI written movie?
Oh, I'm sure that's coming.
Chatbot.
Right? Huh?
Chatbot, you know?
That's definitely coming. I mean, somebody's definitely getting... Well, what happened this week with me? Here we go, talking about AI. I get like pitches from video game companies wanting me to like look at a video game, and for the first time ever, I got an email that said if you take a copy of this game, you need to agree not to write an AI review.
Ooh.
And I was like, wow, because I guess people are just feeding what they want into the AI and then just spitting it back out, pretending they wrote it.
Interesting.
So I will not write an AI review, the same as I won't do an April Fool's joke. One problem I had here is there was some bad acting, very bad acting, where I was like, really? Did this person even ever go to acting school? It's terrible.
Oh, dear. That's harsh.
And then there was also, it didn't really go far enough for me. I wanted it to go batshit crazy and insane. James Wan did another film recently that I loved called Malignant. That film is insane, right? It knows what it is and it goes to a place. I don't think this one went far enough. I think it was too reined in. Maybe they're saving it for the sequel, but she doesn't really do a ton of rampage, does she? It's small.
Right. I'm not sure if I need more rampaging.
I wanted her to go more apeshit when she went apeshit. I really love like when she was in the woods. This movie doesn't care about like children's lives.
No. If you
don't like that. But, when she's like, this is the part where you run, where she actually turns into a maniac. I wanted more of that. But there's very small amounts of it. And I know she's still learning. She's not fully a maniac yet, and her circuits haven't turned over fully. But
see what they needed to do, because we're like, how the hell does she know to make weird one-off comments and stuff? She's brand new, but they needed to show a scene where we're seeing movies flicker through, because she now has access to the whole internet, right? We need to know where she's sourcing, like, I'll be back or anything like that, right? We need to see a little flicker of how she's learning everything, kind of like the mermaid. Yeah. Mermaid, we see her watching TV all day. Also another trope where someone who's out of that
Are
realm.
you talking about a fish out of water?
Yes, and has to learn everything, just like Lilu had to learn everything.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. We didn't get any of that of like a quick understanding of like where she's gathering, like if she's choosing horror movies and terrible news to fill her mind, or if she's choosing, romantic comedies. Like you would have everything in her, but we don't get any indication of where she's getting her information.
So you just have to assume what happened, which is not good writing, right? You're just like,
I agree. Not good.
Because I'm like, well, that's straight out of a horror movie, but where did she learn that? Oh, okay. I just have to assume she watched horror movies with the
correct, or action movies or whatever. Yeah. Yep.
If there's anything wrong for me, the acting's bad and it didn't go far enough. I wanted it to be more kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that, maybe they were saving that and trying to be smaller. Like the movie The Purge, the first movie was contained but good. And then they broadened it out as they went through the sequels. I think maybe they're trying to do that with this, So let's move on to the, did you like it as a horror movie? It's not very horror, is it?
Yeah, it doesn't feel horror-ish to me. I mean, it feels very lecture-y. We mentioned children having screen time. The parents don't want her on the thing so much. And the aunt's like, whatever, do whatever you want. Well, we see the result of that because she's a cold-hearted, empty shell of a human being, right? So that's bad.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about how we spend less and less time nurturing each other and we allow computers and whatnot to, we all know this.
I mean, it's essentially like an episode of The Twilight Zone or something. It's got that kind of messaging going on.
Absolutely. And it's kind of heavy-handed in the lecture.
It's certainly heavy-handed, yes.
Correct.
So let's move on to the cast. I'm sure you've got something to say about Alison Williams as Gemma.
Well, the thing is, I like her okay.
Yeah. She was in Get Out. She was the girlfriend.
This was like she's intentionally or not.
I think maybe she was doing what she was told, but too much.
Yeah, like stay distant, be distant. The aunt is obsessed with her career, so don't be too emotionally invested. But then it's just like
you literally are a robot.
Yeah, she wasn't raised by robots, this woman. She had a sister who she barely grieves. Let's remember this. Her sister just died in a car wreck, and presumably a few days later she goes, well, I missed so much work last week. My boss is good. And you're like, a week? Are you fucking kidding me? If one of my sisters, anything bad would happen, there would be no next week I'm coming to work, mother truckers. No. So I didn't identify with that.
Distance, I don't know.
That
she doesn't care about anything, just her robotics work.
But that's not even, I don't know. Nah, but I just want to see her in more things,
Yeah. I mean,
peel
she's
back
good.
the onion layers and I'll be happy.
I mean, in Get Out, she was good. She's clearly good, but I think maybe she's
all right.
Yeah.
I don't know about good, but she's all right.
We've got Violet McGraw as Katie, the daughter. What do you think of the daughter?
She did a good job because she was convincingly a child and convincingly, like, she got kind of tough there in the end, and I bought that, so I accepted that.
Yeah. I had one of those scripts where everything in the script is like, everything that's mentioned is not accidental. It'll pay off in the future.
Absolutely.
So watch out for that. We've got Amy Donald, who's the Megan. She's the child who plays Megan. Now, Megan is a creation of all kinds of things. It's puppets, it's some CG, and it's also a child. So what do you think of the child's...
I thought her movements were really interesting, so I'm all for it. She did a good job.
And then I put down Ronnie Chieng. I wanted to mention this. He plays David, the boss of the whole place. And I found his acting really like cartoonish.
Yes.
Annoying.
Is that so we didn't really care whenever,
I don't know. He didn't seem like a real person, right?
But then again, we don't know any of those people who run those giant companies.
Yeah.
Right? So are we trying to pretend that he's not an Elon Musk because he doesn't own it? He's got bosses, right?
Yeah.
But he's in charge of this big company, toy company. Is he supposed to be like that?
Yeah. What was the show we just watched on Amazon Prime? The one with Christoph Waltz. What was that called?
I forget the name of it. Beast or something?
Yeah, that show was The Consultant. It was called.
Consultant, yes.
That show, the workplace in that show reminded me of the workplace here as well.
Yes.
Like really like fabricated and up its own ass.
Oh, yeah. Correct.
Maybe that's just how places are like that. I don't know.
Somebody must have gone to these places and been like, really?
Yeah.
People work here? Ugh.
So directed by Jared Johnston. He's done some TV stuff. What did you think of the directing?
Functional.
Yeah, it all looks and sounds and moves well. You know what I mean? It looks like it was well made.
Agree.
But there's nothing like artistic or anything. It's just the stuff that you're seeing is there and nothing's in its way, and that's it.
Everything's in focus.
Yeah. And the special effects look good. I mean, they do. We're talking about an animatronic doll, so you kind of give it a pass.
A little bit, but it's occasionally I'm a little bit like,
I mean, its lips don't match the words that come out a lot, but I mean, I can't really complain. It's a doll, right? So, IMDb reviews, what are those?
Those are reviews on IMDb. And you're going to find the 1 stars. That means the people who like it the least, but still take time of their life to dip with their fingers and tippity type it somewhere on a screen or on a keyboard and say, this was a waste of my time, or worst movie ever made, or one of those classics.
So the first person says, this movie is poorly written, the acting is mediocre, and it's not very scary. I would say I was confused more than anything. That's it.
Okay, I can't disagree with most of that, so, I mean, you know.
And number 2, 1-star guy says, what in the world are these critics talking about? This is the worst movie I've ever watched. Not only is it cheesy, as the trailers made it seem from the beginning, it's boring, so boring it's painful. Not even remotely scary, no heart throughout the film. Critics have seriously gotten this one wrong. It's absolute garbage.
Oh, garbage. Well, what critic is saying that it's good would be my question.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's somewhere in the middle.
Also, don't listen to reviews.
No.
Don't listen to podcasts.
No.
Just watch stuff and then go from there. And then listen to the podcast.
The final guy says, bad and weak movie. Weak script, ridiculous CGI, horrible acting. It doesn't scare anybody. It's more of a dull, killer doll cliche movie. A tremendous waste of your time. Repetitive environment. Forest, house, building. The doll looks like bad programming. It's not scary. You can't even consider it a horror movie. Weak deaths. It's a sickening movie that you don't want to ever watch again.
Oh my, a sickening movie.
So that's that guy. And now... Oh, there are extras on this Blu-ray, by the way. We watched the 4K disc. It's got some extras. It's got the unrated and theatrical versions of the film. Both versions are exactly the same runtime. So take that for what you will.
Okay.
I do know what the differences are because I just went and looked it up. Basically, there's one F word in the theatrical and there's 12 F words in the unrated. And whenever blood is on screen, in the theatrical, there is no blood on the screen. It just left to your imagination. But in the unrated, you see all the blood. That's the difference.
That's super weird because you would have had to completely redo those scenes without.
Yeah.
Right.
Apparently the scene, where she goes to the neighbor and uses the power washer, you never see the power washer hit a face at all, ever.
Right.
Yeah, so if you don't like power washer deaths, this is not your movie. There are a couple of extras. A new vision of horror, bringing life to M3gan and getting hacked. So there's 3, about 30 minutes long. You can watch some extras. Shows you how they made it. I didn't know quite how they'd done it until I watched the extra, and it's quite cool the way they did it. So, thank you to Universal. I'm going to give M3gan the score of 5 out of 10.
I think that seems fair, but I'm going to go with 6.
Is that just an extra, reward point? What's that?
It's a reward point because it's well made.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dislike any of it. I love the concept. I just want to see it done different. So I got to give them a little credit.
All right. Well done. So there we go. We're right in the middle on this one. Next week, we're looking at the movie Avatar, The Way of Water. So that's Avatar 2. Did it take 10 years for him to make a sequel?
I don't know.
We'll finally get to see the sequel to Avatar. Movie recommendations. I am going on the AI/James Wan tip. So I'm going with Malignant, which I really loved. Also, I would throw in the movie that Malignant seemed to be inspired by a movie that I watched as a kid called Basket Case. I would say watch Basket Case as well if you like that kind of thing. And Ex Machina is my AI movie, which is a really cool movie. It's more of an art house version of anything, if you know.
Kinda.
It's not a M3gan. And yours are?
And mine are going back to the early 2000s. We're up to 2008, it looks like. All science fiction for 2023. That's what we're going with. This is not a quality race. This is a quantity race. So we have The X-Files, I Want to Believe.
I Want to Believe is not the good one, right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think I Want to Believe is the Billy Connolly one.
Okay. So it's like just an episode.
Yeah, basically. And
I don't mind that.
It's just an episode, but not even a good one.
It was a bit of a letdown. But I mean, it's X-Files, so I'm wrapping it all together. It's fine. Like zombies, they're fine. Even if it's awful, I don't care. Then we have Wall-E.
Yes, very good.
And then my little timeline is confusing because I have the years next to these. And then I have 2012, 2009. So that means 2012, the movie, which people like to dog on really bad with
the John Cusack.
And Woody Harrelson.
It's okay.
I will, if that come on and I was sitting there and, you know, I'd watch it.
Yeah,
I'd watch it too. It's not great, but I don't mind it. It's crazy. It's dumb. No? It looks bad, but for some reason, I don't care. And then in 2009, that's 2012. And then we have Avatar, which you just spoke of.
I did. And
high science fiction there. And District 9, which is a really good science fiction flick from New Zealand, right?
Yeah, it is New Zealand, isn't it? It's Neil Blomkamp, that guy.
Right.
Very good. I liked it. Yeah, it's real like a scrappy movie, I call it. Like it's low budget for what it is, but like it's awesome. Like the whole thing. Like that Skyline movie, which was also cool.
So it's called District 9, in case you're interested.
All right, A Scully stuff. I've been playing some more of Forspoken this week. Have you seen any of Forspoken?
Not really.
It's a open world adventure. You're a criminal teenager who means good, she's found this magical bracelet and she's been transported into this magical world. She lives in our world, but she's been transformed and she wants to go home. Kind of Wizard of Oz / Alice in Wonderland. They're pulling at all of those things. And she finds out that the only way to go home when she's been transported to this new place is there's 4, like, I would call them wicked witches. There's 4 different ones. One's water, one's fire. They all live in different parts of the world. And the people in the world are all being tormented by these 4. And the only way for her to go home and open a portal is to end all 4 of them. So the game is you going through the world, helping the people from this, this blight that they're putting on the world. And I've took one of them out so far, so you can see how far I am into the game. And I really am enjoying it. It's an RPG, you're leveling up, you're going around an open world, there's monsters to fight, and it looks really awesome. PlayStation 5 game. So that's Forspoken. Another game I've been playing, just quickly, is a game called Dredge. You saw a little bit of this one. It's the fishing game I was playing.
Very little, yes.
Yeah, it's called Dredge. You're a little, tugboat. You're the captain of a little tugboat, and you're going around and you're capturing fish, and you're bringing them back and selling them. And it all seems like just like a little relaxing fishing game until you start, slowly they start telling you things like at nighttime you don't really want to be around the rocks, or you don't want to go over there at night. And if you do, put your light on, make sure you've got a good light on your ship, because something's happening. And what is happening is it's like, H.P. Lovecraft kind of stuff. There's that kind of stuff going on in this little place. So slowly it unravels this story, but mostly you're fishing and bringing fish back and earning money to upgrade your ship. And as you're upgrading your ship, you can go further out to sea. And the further out to sea you go, the more terrifying it becomes. So it's kind of relaxing and then also stressful. And that's called Dredge. It's on all platforms. It's a cute little game as well. It's kind of really cool.
I think when you said it, I'm like, you're just fishing? Are you just fishing?
It's not just fishing, even though I would say like a big percentage of the game is fishing.
Right.
But there is a story in there too. So Sito, what's for dinner?
Well, tonight we're going to have some tortillas with stuff in them.
So that's a burrito.
Doesn't have to be a burrito. They're small tortillas, so they might be just a soft taco, fold over wrap quesadilla situation.
Okay.
It's just a wrap.
Let's just call them a situation.
With roasted cauliflower, which has already been roasted. The reason I'm telling you what we're eating, not that you care, but we're vegetarian. People think we're starving to death, and it's weird. It's not weird. We're not starving. I'm very plump for a vegetarian. If you meet me, you'd be like, you ain't no vegetarian, girl. I'm like, I'm not a breaditarian. I mean, maybe I could be a breaditarian. Only eat bread, right?
That sounds good.
I'm just don't eat meat. That's it. That's all. That's the only thing. We're not vegan because that's a whole different thing. That's a life view of the whole world. It's not a diet. This is just, it's been since 2009, by the way, that we have been vegetarian.
Yeah. And we don't cheat. We've never eaten any meat in that time.
Is that cheating? That's weird.
I think that's cheating, isn't it? If you're a
it's not like a religion.
You know these type who go like, I'm a vegetarian, but I have fish on a Friday.
That's not cheating, though. You're not committed to anything.
It's just you're not a vegetarian, I guess.
Correct. It's just an inaccuracy.
Yeah.
If the doctor told you can never eat sugar because it will kill you, and then you eat a cake with sugar in it, that would be cheating on your own body. And you'll also be dead, probably. Very possibly. This is like, we just decided, I did for medical reasons, to stop eating meat for a while, and then we didn't care. No. And now we eat tortilla situations.
Yeah.
Full of stuff like vegetables.
And all kinds of fun foods.
Well, we might make some chips, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Right. Chips as in fries.
So what's your advice? Let's get on to your advice and let's get out of here.
This is not advice. This is a driving lesson because I'm freaking tired of this bullshit. And I don't care what generation you're from. I don't care how old you are. I don't care. I don't care what you're driving. So we're going to lay this out.
What are you driving?
If you're in a class with me, I'm giving you a lesson right now that I learned when I learned how to drive. And if you don't like it or you're like, call me old. I don't give a shit. This is the bottom line. When you're pulling out into traffic, right? Across traffic or even going the way of traffic, like, ooh, I'm going to turn right into traffic and here comes the traffic from my left. Do not. This isn't a request. This is me telling you how I learned. Don't ever pull that vehicle out if the person coming, and it is a person, is going to have to put their brake on just for your egocentric little ass. Like, ew, I want to get pulled out into the street so bad and I'm tired of waiting. So I'll just go ahead and pull out 20 feet in front of the fucking car that's coming and they're going to have to slam on the brakes, but I don't care. I don't care because that's all about me. No, if you see a car coming and if you don't know how to judge it, then you shouldn't be driving. If there's a car coming from any direction, and you have to think about it, think real hard. I'm going to pull out into traffic. I'm not going to be going 60 miles an hour. I'm going relatively slow. The person coming is going to see you. If they have to brake in order to accommodate you by not smashing into you, which would be your fault, by the way, then don't go. If you have to wait 5 minutes for a long bunch of traffic, that's too bad. That is the way you learn to drive safely. And I bet, I don't even know the statistics. I'm going to lie and say, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to speculate that a lot of traffic accidents are caused by selfish, impatient people who do not know this rule. Do not pull into traffic if the oncoming traffic will have to put on their brake just for you. Just don't do it.
All right, well done. Is that a public service announcement?
It's a public service announcement. I feel much better. I've told the whole world because like 10 billion people listen to this, right? So now we've got it covered. We're all good.
That's true.
When I go out of this house again into my vehicle, this will never happen again, right?
Can't guarantee that.
I still feel better.
All right, ascully.com. That's the website that you can go to get this podcast. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're on all of those, Sid Talk and A Scully. You can also go to Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, anywhere that podcasts are available. We are there. Email feedback to me, ascully@ascully.com. Do not email Sid Talk. She doesn't want any email or any correspondence at all.
Or oncoming traffic.
Nope. And stay classy, Mr. James Wan. I believe there's going to be like another Annabelle or something coming up. What's his thing with dolls? Duh?
It's a good question. It's a good question. Is that it? Are you done?
I am done, yes.
Okay, and then I'm going to say, think for yourselves. Except for this driving tip that I gave you, then you need to think like me. Think for yourself, or someone will do it for you.